everyone.
Hello.
Welcome again. Welcome back. I have a little guinea pig on the side, so if you hear the squealing, he's just saying hi. So welcome back. Today we're with the beautiful Jade here.
Hello.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking a little bit about anxiety today. And to start it off, I'll explain a little bit how anxiety has kind of affected my life first, and then Jade also too. I think if you want to share, yeah. And the things that I do nowadays, because anxiety, I guess, for as long as I could remember, probably since I would say either 9 or 10 years old or whatever. It's been pretty much instilled into my life, to the point where this is gonna sound really disgusting, but I used to bite my nails like really bad.
Oh yeah.
Like so bad, to the point where I'd lose my fingernails.
Ouch.
Yeah, I know, it was really bad, and even to a point where I think I was like 17 or 18. I started having formations of ulcers in my stomach.
Really?
Yeah, it was really bad.
It's even more painful.
It was even more painful, yeah. Sometimes so painful that I couldn't stand up. Like I had to stay tilted down. The anxiety was like so bad.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't stand up like straight or anything of the sort. So yeah, it was pretty. It's always been really prevalent into my life, except until now, I guess, on the last year or so. It's finally kind of, I still have it from time to time, but it's subsided quite a bit compared to before.
Oh yeah.
From time to time I still like, kind of nibble on my nail or whatnot, but I stop it right away. Or what else do I do? I think I'm just more aware of it now, so I kind of stop right away and I breathe. I take really deep breaths and get out of that phase and get out of it type thing. But
that's a big thing, because when I get anxious, I like forget to breathe. Like you hold your breath and you don't even realize it's just like a pause.
Yeah.
And you have to and then you gasp for air and you're like, okay, wait.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I didn't know that, right? I didn't even realize I was holding on to my breath or anything. Sorry, you don't think about those types of things, right? But yeah. So anyway, with this whole anxiety stuff, hopefully, anyways, by the end we can give you a couple of tips and I don't know, just little ways, I guess, to help you out.
Yeah.
To get out of that phase. I know that it has to do a lot with habits too, at the same time. I did have a lot of not so good, there is no actual good habit, to tell you honestly. I know that people say, oh, there's a good habit and there's a bad habit, but a habit is a habit nonetheless, and doesn't matter if it's good or not. When you go into what's the word?
What, like fight or flight mode?
Yeah. When you go into that fight or flight mode, it doesn't matter if the habit is good or not. Like, let's say for instance, you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is you grab your glass of water, you drink a whole glass of water or whatever. It's a good habit. I mean, as soon as you wake up, you're refreshing yourself.
Yeah.
The only problem is when you're in a state where you can't have that glass of water.
Yeah.
What happens? Your whole day kind of gets shot, because this one thing you didn't do, that you usually do every single morning, it's not there anymore. So
yeah,
it changes your mood, it changes so many different things, and so that's why I say there are no real good habits or bad habits, because it's just a habit is a habit type thing.
Yeah.
So as for the anxiety, trying to remember as a kid, well, I guess when I was a kid, because we had to wake up, early in the morning, and there was no real sleeping in, or it was just literally my environment itself was go, or you can't do this, you can't do that, or walking on eggshells. So it was kind of like one of the three one of the three options, like first thing in the morning. So obviously, as soon as I woke up, felt it in my stomach right away. Yeah, and my mind was already racing like when I was young too. And plus, I wasn't that great in school. Like it wasn't my favorite thing, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's any kid's favorite thing, but it was just like, oh my gosh. Waking up to go to school and waking up to do this and that. So it was just yeah, and
Yeah.
it progressed, right? To the point where that's why I said in my teens I I had to make a change at that point. So I did have to change my environment a little bit. Uh, I had to change sometimes even the people that I was hanging around with, my friends and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
that helped quite a bit to kind of tone it down. But then I got married really young, and at the time I wasn't obviously aware of the or when you're in it already and you just don't see that you're just continuing that pattern.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
just kind of
even
blindly like falling into it, like wherever it goes, it goes.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I did that for another 22 years. So it didn't really subside by any means. It was
No.
just a different shift of anxiety, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, so unfortunately, no sleep, or at least my sleep was very erratic. Um, and then you topple it off with you have your family, you have kids, you have this and that, so you have all the extra worries. And anyways, so it's a very long it was a very long process for me to kind of break through. But I know what kept me sane obviously was the meditations. Luckily that really helped me a lot, and also the community. So I really fell into an awesome community with the universal energy and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
even though at the time I was still working on myself and just trying to improve whatever wasn't working out for me, yeah, still having the anxiety while I was going through that whole process. Like I even feel it now. I remember how it used to be.
I know. I was just thinking about that when we started talking about anxiety. I started getting a little bit. And
Yeah,
it's like
exactly. Yeah, I know.
You just like remember it, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
I know.
Which, yeah.
Anyways, with that, it helped me a lot. And in the end, I think the biggest thing was, again, for me, it was my whole environment completely changed, like 360. My work, my partner, new house, friends kind of coming in, and some who left, things like that. So
Yeah.
because of all those changes, it really helped me to just come back down again type thing. So it's really awesome. It took a long time for me. It took a long time, but that's why I want to do this to kind of help people, especially if there's teenagers or early 20s and things like that. Just
Yeah.
help you guys not to get into that.
To that group of just constantly being on the anxiety like roller coaster.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about your anxieties and stuff, and then we'll talk about maybe how it helped, the things that we did basically in order to help us out to get out of it.
Yeah. I don't like. That's one thing that I'm still trying to like figure out is like where my anxiety came from. But like I can remember feeling like super anxious when I was younger before my teens. Like again, where you said like 9 or 10 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know where it came from. It could be ancestrally. It could just be from like really like anything. But I do know that I felt anxiety, but I didn't really realize that it was anxiety until I got to high school. You know what I mean? Like it's like you don't really become conscious of the fact that that's what's happening. Like
True.
During that time, anxiety did in high school did get like a lot worse. And then that's when I did go on like medication like for it and stuff like that. I didn't like that though. It's such a weird feeling too. Like sometimes for like people it works and stuff like that. It was so weird because it was just like you're just kind of it's kind of like not just the anxiety but every emotion just gets numbed down. You know what I mean? And then it's like it just was not fun. And then once I got out of high school and it's like I didn't have to rely on it to be able to get myself to class and stuff like that, then it came to a point where I didn't see the reason and having it or anything, and it never got bad. The time that it did get really bad was a year or so after I had finished high school. I was 19, and I got a concussion, a kind of a pretty bad, not like too bad. It's just the fact that I didn't know I had a concussion because I never had a concussion before.
Yeah.
So I again did not take care of myself. I got it on Friday. Of course, I was 19, so I drank like the whole weekend. And then on Monday, I felt horrible, and I was like, "What is this?" And I went to the doctor, and she said I had a concussion, and it wasn't that bad. It was when I, healed from my concussion and I got better and everything. That's when the anxiety got really worse.
Okay.
And that's when I had to take like a little adjustment to what I was doing, because I got like, I've never felt anxiety that way before, and it took me like a year or so before I really got over it, which it feels like a long time ago, but it was only 2 years ago, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it took me a while to get over that one. But what it kind of woke me up to is like not being in environments that made me really anxious. I do feel bad, but the job that I had at that time, I actually quit without even going in. Like I just texted my boss because I can't even leave my house. I had so much anxiety.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't drive my car. I remember one time which is why I'm very thankful for my sister, I had such bad anxiety that I was actually leaving for a trip, actually to go to Italy in 2 weeks. And I was in my head like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to go. Like, the thought of driving myself to the airport or going with my parents and then getting on this plane by myself, I was like, I can't do this. And I remember that early in the morning, because my flight was later that day, I went to Walmart and I drove there being like, okay, if I can drive without anxiety, I can get in there. Like, I still had the anxiety, but I was like, I can still do it. As soon as I walked in there, I just started panicking like crazy. I only could make it through the door, and then suddenly I had to go. And I got into my car, and I remember I called my sister because I don't even know what it was, but I was so anxious that I was going to, I'm even like getting back into that energy just talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, the way I was so anxious that like I thought that I was going to faint if I drove my car.
Okay.
Like that's kind of like the idea I had in my head.
Yeah.
Because like the way that I got the concussion, I was actually in a bar and a guy threw a glass at the ground and it bounced back. It didn't break. It was a whiskey glass and it bounced back and it hit me straight in my forehead.
Oh my God.
And I remembered everyone was so shocked because, typically if you throw a glass on the ground, it's going to break.
Yeah.
But it didn't. But it was so perfectly in line with just the ground and my head. And it all happened right at the same time. Like before he went through it, my friends turned away. They saw something else. And so they didn't see anything that had happened. But by the time they got back, I kind of was like, oh no, I'm okay. You know what I mean? Like, nobody give me attention.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell them because I thought they saw it. And finally we got back into the car, and it wasn't until I was in the car with one of my friends, like sister driving us home, that she was like, wait, what? And then I slowly remembered in the morning that, maybe I should go to the doctor's, but I didn't. I waited till Monday, which was dumb. But now I learned my lesson and I know to take care of myself. But anyways, my sister helped me. I called her. She basically with a 6-month-old baby and everything, you know what I mean? She helped me through driving, talking to me until I made it to my house, and then she came over to my house with her little baby, and then she helped me. She basically packed my bag for me as I just stayed on the couch super anxious. And then she just stayed with me, and she was super good because obviously she's dealt with anxiety too. And so she basically kept me distracted, and she finally got my bags into the car. She got me into the car. And then suddenly it was I was so in an out of body experience. I didn't realize that slowly my brother got in the car, and then my mom got in the car. And then suddenly by the time I knew it, we were on the way to the airport, and I was like, oh frick, I'm going.
Oh,
you know what
wow.
I mean? She did everything for me. So it was all I had to do was just be there.
Okay.
And I remembered she helped me get into the airport with my parents, and then suddenly I was in line and I was like, oh shoot, I'm getting on this plane right now. And it was so crazy because as soon as I got to Italy, all the anxiety just fell away. You know what I mean?
Really? Okay.
And it was I was still a little bit anxious about certain stuff there, but as soon as I found my aunt there, it was just you know what I mean? It wasn't until I got back from Italy that all the anxiety that I had felt before I came there came right back. And that's when I realized that was kind of the environment that I was putting myself into. So I quit my hostessing, waitressing job because I knew that made me super anxious.
Okay.
I was unemployed for about a month just doing readings until I got a very low key job at Chatters. And then just slowly through that year, it was really just like getting rid of things that made me anxious.
Yeah.
Until at the end of it, it was really like you can change your environment as much as possible, but when it comes down to changing the root of it, it was always my mind.
Yeah.
Because it was my mind directing me in that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so then that what brings you back to like, well, what brought me back to like really taking the time to meditate and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my experience with anxiety. So yeah, I guess I didn't take care of it until it got really, really bad. But I'm glad, in a way, it's a blessing and a curse. Like in a way, I'm happy that I did go through that because I wouldn't have done anything about it if I did.
Yeah.
And now I think I'm a lot better with my anxiety than I was beforehand.
Okay, good.
And I have a lot more awareness around it too. So that's the best thing. But
yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was that intense for you. I had
no, really?
No yeah. Like I knew you had this anxiety, just like everybody else. I guess everybody has anxiety, but I didn't know it was to that point for you. Okay.
Yeah, that's why like last in April when I went on that car trip to like Vancouver, that was like a huge like bravo for me to be able to drive all the way to Victoria and back and like not have it, especially doing it alone. For the longest time I was like so scared to drive in my car alone. I'd have to have like my sister, or like if I were to like shop anxious, like I wouldn't tell my friends I was anxious, but I was like, do you want to come with me? You know what I mean? To do all my shopping, or I'd ask my mom or my brother or really anybody. The only place where I could drive to during that time was literally just straight to work and back because I knew it was only like 3 minutes away. But again, there's anxiety where if I got to a stoplight or if a train came or something like that, and I was like, I would like freak out because I was in my car alone.
Oh wow, okay, really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, because it was like I had it so set in my mind to get there on that schedule, to get her in that, and it was like, oh, but now I have so much more time for something to happen to me in my car. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
It's so weird too, because it's like when I would trace back those thoughts, I never really understood where those thoughts were coming from.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that being in that state of anxiety just brought on all those thoughts of what could happen type of thing.
Yeah. And that's what it is. Anxiety is about. Oh my god, just talking about anxiety is like. Like I'm feeling it like this all
right?
Just talking, anxiety is from the things that may happen in the future, right? So I've known like so many people where it really completely, it really halted everything in their lives type thing, like, but it's just the thought process of, what if, I guess is that main sentence, what if, this happens, or I have too much time. I'm in my car and something will happen, or or this and that. Yeah, it's really debilitating, actually. And you're right too. That anxiety completely comes from you and your mind. So it's your mindset for sure. So, what can you do? Type thing to get out of that mindset. Like for me too, is the same thing. I mean, I don't know if it's because it's more of probably females would feel it more than the males when it comes to, let's say, going away for 2 weeks. For them it's like whatever, right? They go in the car, they go, and that's it. But for us, there's all of the aspects of, okay, well, what if there's this strange dude, or this happens, or this, even walking, like, and there's a bush, and I'm like, oh great, is there somebody behind that bush, like, is it gonna attack me? Like, we have so many of those stupid things in our heads, so
and it just comes through. Well, then even so, like, when I reflect back on like going on like trips and stuff like that, when I look back on like the preparation for it, my dad was so calm, and my mom was just like, go there, go here, we're doing this now, we're doing this, and like all of it too. And I actually, I do have a lot of anxiety when it comes to like getting ready for things or stuff like that, because as a way, I think when I was younger, I relied on it as a way to remember everything, not realizing that by doing that, I was getting ahead of myself, stuff like that. So I find the most anxiety that comes to me now is when I'm preparing for myself, 'cause in the past, I relied on it as like a safety thingy.
Yeah.
So, and like I remembered, I have these beads. Oh my gosh, I forgot my cards today. I have these beads that I keep with my with my cards. And when I was younger, I've had them since I was probably like 9 or 10, but I was younger. I would get so much anxiety when it came to preparing for a trip that I would literally just put all my stuff in the car. And I remember just like sitting in the car waiting for my family to come, and I would just be rubbing the beads because I think it was my aunt that got them, and she said that if I rubbed them, it would take away my anxiety. And so then I would just like sit there and I would just rub them. And it actually did really, really help. Actually, later I found out that they were actually onyx.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
which I was like,
yeah.
that actually does kind of make sense because that absorbs the negative energy.
It does, but it's also keeping your mind away from what's going on
Yeah.
actively right now type thing.
That thing right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that like preparation and stuff like that, which you like. It sounds bad, but you Well, at least.
But
for
it's
me,
also
it was,
like you just said right now too. It's learning it from everybody else in our surroundings, right? Like for me, the anxiety. Why it was because, from my understanding, anyways, this is me. Like I'm not talking for my brother or my sister or anything else, but for me, it was like, well, what is my dad gonna say? Because obviously my dad was the loudest one in the house. So like you had to wake up and you had to, anyways, do certain things. So the anxiety stemmed from maybe not doing enough for somebody, like not doing enough stuff or not. There was no, what's the word? Approval. You're seeking for that approval, right, with somebody.
Yeah.
So, and it was never
Never
really came, So you just kept on doing the same thing, and it gets worse and worse and worse because you try so hard and it's just not working type thing. And then it continued, obviously, for myself. It continued, in my marriage and stuff like that, because I was never enough. That was the whole thing. Was I never did enough. I never did it right. I didn't do it right according to that person or anything of the sort, right? So, but it stemmed from my childhood too.
Yeah.
So it started a long time ago. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And it just kept on reflecting in different people
Growing.
in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Growing.
Yeah, definitely. So luckily it didn't affect me necessarily physically in a form of like either cancer or any other ailment of that sort. I'm fairly healthy now type thing, but still it plagues on everything: your sleep, your motivation, your mind process, your thought, and all that type of stuff. It really screws it up quite a bit.
I feel like going through that too, it takes like a hit on your confidence and stuff like that.
That's the next one that I was going to talk about, is that you had a lack of trust. Me too, same thing, but that's where the anxiety kind of builds too, is because you don't trust in yourself. So that's why, it just kept on building and building. So you don't trust yourself that it doesn't matter what decision you take.
Yeah.
You see a screw up in either or type thing, right? It's never good enough, I guess, is the best way for explaining it anyways. But then now it's more about, okay, so now that we went through all that.
Can I say one more thing before we go?
Yeah, for sure.
That actually, that does a little bit shock me that like you went through all of that stuff like that, because the person that I know, like you right now today and everything like that, I wouldn't have thought with it, because you do seem like a very, very confident person and stuff like that. That I would not have thought that you went through all of that.
No, not at all. If anything, I hide very well.
True.
I do, and I admit that. I hide my anxiety. That's the reason why it was affecting me internally, like the ulcers and things like that. Because I would hide everything in the inside. I would never show it on the outside, I guess. I still do that now, I guess, in some ways. Certain people can see through it. It was funny that you mentioned that, because my sister was just mentioning to me last week. She goes, I know there's something wrong. She goes, you hide it well, but I can see it. I'm like, okay, all right. So I'm like, okay, yeah.
So it's got like a sixth sense to each
Yeah.
other. Like, it's like...
So she saw it. But anyway, I do hide it really. And everybody says that. It's really weird. It's not weird. It's just, it's interesting in the sense that everybody thinks that I'm calm, but I wasn't calm at all in the inside. It's like, but then you're like, energetically, when you're meeting people, somebody as sensitive as, let's say, as yourself, they would say, oh, every time I'm with you, I feel so calm and you calm me down and this and that. But I'm like, in the inside, I'm not calm at all,
Yeah.
type thing. And it kind of baffled me, I guess, in so many ways. I could be so calm for so many people, but for me, it was like, oh my
You're
god.
like hyperventilating on the inside.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, no, when I did meet you, yeah, you seemed very, very calm to me. But
Yeah.
but yeah.
No.
No.
I mean, I'm better now. Now I can
Yeah.
say yes. I'm a lot calmer than what I used to be, but I think it's also because of the fact that I'm actually going through all of the different emotions. So sometimes it'll just come up all of a sudden, and I don't stop myself like I used to, because it comes up sometimes so randomly. I could be in a freaking store and all of a sudden a thought comes in, and then I'm like, I gotta cry.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh god. So I go in the corner and I'm like, or with my friends or whatever, and I said, okay, I need to, release this. And
Well, that's good that you're releasing it though. Like that's a big thing is like releasing it. And sometimes like anxiety comes through to me at like the very most oddest like moments ever where there's like no reason for me to feel anxious. And sometimes I think this because I've have that emotion still in my body, you know what I mean? That's still trying to release itself because I didn't allow myself to feel it. It was like, okay, just like, push it away type of thing. It'll go away sooner or later.
Yeah.
That it kind of sticks in here. And that's why I think I still feel it sometimes in moments where there's no reason for it. You know what I mean?
I think the importance at this point, when you feel the whatever it is that's coming up into your system, the anxiety or whatnot, it's not to go into the why is it happening or trying to figure out where it's coming from. Just go through it.
Just go through it.
Yeah, because I mean, when that emotion comes up, you don't want to go into your mind again and creating more stories and where is this coming from? Why is this happening to me all the time? A why is a never-ending story. You're always in that loop, basically. The only time that you ask why is when certain things, like we have rules and everything else, but like why this rule, like that type of questioning, like why are people doing it this way and things like that. That's okay. But when it comes to you and your mindset or what's happened in the past, like say, why did it happen to me? Why do I have to experience this? Why? Then you're in that freaking loop, and it's a spiral that it can really bring you down, basically. And then you go in the opposite direction, which is the depression. So you go from anxiety to asking why to going back in depression. That's kind of what happens in that whole process, I guess you can say.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah. So you don't want to go into the why. You just want to process the whole thing, whatever it is, however it is that you want to do it. It's either crying, screaming, punching something, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just the fact of going through the process. And at the beginning, for me anyways, it took a little while for that specific emotion to kind of clear through my system. But as the months or years went by, it was going so much faster.
Yeah.
And it's to the point where you're crying, and then all of a sudden it's almost like somebody cut something and you don't feel it anymore whatsoever, and then you're like, okay, why was I crying? Again, you're going into that why, like why was I crying? I'm like, oh no, okay, it's done, it's finished, next, that's it. And then you just continue on. So you're constantly just releasing, but it goes faster and faster every time. It's really awesome, actually, because it doesn't.
That's very cool to know.
it doesn't feel as like there's not as much burden, I guess you can say. Like when you're going through it, you feel heavy and you're tired and all that type of stuff, and it's normal at the beginning. It's totally normal. Because it sucked so much energy out of you, but then when you actually go through the process, it actually somewhat, I don't want to say it becomes fun, but you know that there's an end to it and it's gonna be there really soon, and you just do it, and it becomes so much easier. So
that's nice.
It is, and it's pretty cool on that part. So I know for me, one is just the fact of going through the emotion that you're going through at that moment, even though it may be an awkward moment, like go somewhere to
just feel it.
Just feel it. Yeah, pretty much. Just don't block yourself on that part. And then you were talking about meds, right? Too.
Oh yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with meds. Like I don't condone it or anything of the sort, but it's good maybe so like at the beginning, because sometimes it just becomes so overwhelming for somebody.
Yeah, that's the nice thing that I did is because like you get to a certain point where you're just like you're just in a freeze mode. That it was nice for that because it got me out of there, but after it kind of served its purpose, it was just kind of like now I want to get rid of it.
Get rid of it, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You have to be ready for it too, right? I mean, that's the whole thing is you got to be willing to do it and not have the expectation of anybody else doing it for you or the meds doing it for you too. It doesn't matter if it's meds from the pharmacy or from psychedelics and all that type of stuff too.
Oh yeah.
And it, like, don't get me wrong, I mean I've tried certain psychedelics and stuff, but you know, it really helps to move forward, but it still doesn't do everything for you. Like I know so many people like they do it one after another, and it's okay. Again, there's nothing wrong about it. It's just like, okay, are you taking the time to do it yourself, or are you expecting everything else in the outside to do it for you? And that includes the psychedelics too at the same time. So
yeah, they say that they're good for opening your mind to the things you can't see, but then you have to do the work in between doing those psychedelic stuff, because like I've had people say and everything that if you don't do it, you're going to get to a point where everything that you're not doing is going to come through in that trip there, and that can be a lot for a lot of people, especially when there's no like okay cut you know, it's like no, you're gonna see like all of it type of thing. So
and that was kind of part of what the course that I had taken, the universal energy, right? So it kind of helped me to build myself up, I guess, in so many ways through meditation and all that type of stuff, to the point where like I remember my coach goes, are you sure you want to take the last level? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I went through all this, so yes, of course.
Yeah.
Though I understand why he said that now, and it was because, it was just like I told you, everything changed. Like my whole life went from, you know, one way to 360 to the other type thing. Every single thing. You know, every single moment from now on type thing, it just completely changed. And it was overwhelming. Like already it was overwhelming. You saw me go through the process, so you know, but it was very overwhelming. But at the same time, because of all these meditations and breathing, using certain tools and stuff like that to help me stay as grounded or as leveled, and of course family and friends and all that too, you know, that helped me a lot, to kind of get me out of that anxiety mood. But yeah, anyways, it's a heck of a process, and I still know, you know, a couple of my friends, even if they are on meds and stuff like that, they're still feeling that overwhelming feeling and stuff like that. And unfortunately, like I wish I could take that all away, but again, it's a work in progress for yourself to kind of go through. So anyway, so I just want to make sure, you know, people knew that it's not like we're against medication or anything, but it is a numbing factor for sure. It numbs you out.
Yeah.
It doesn't just numb you out on the anxiety, but it numbs you out on a lot of other emotions. Like some of them I know, they don't feel love actually even at that point. Like I remember them telling me that, like, that it numbs my ability to even love someone or anything of the sort. So I was like, holy crap, you know, that's pretty intense. That's
it is, yeah. And well, I kind of like, that kind of like gets to you a little bit more, because like they say that like the natural state of the universe is unconditional love, so it should be natural for all of us to feel that, you know, all the time, even if we don't. You know what I mean? So that kind of weirds me out. But yeah, again, as you said before, there is no right choice or wrong choice. There is no good habit or bad habit. There's just the cause and effect from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And try to explain that to people, but it's a little bit more. It's a little complicated at times.
It is. Yeah. When you're first getting into it, it's really complicated. The thing that kind of helped me understand what was like that there was no such thing as like right or wrong was like duality and stuff. That there is no. It's just our brain making that up for us. And I was actually like reading a lot of like Alan Watts's stuff and stuff like that because he talks about a lot of that. That it's our man mind type of thing that creates that illusion of what's right or wrong. But then when you come out of that, you realize that everything's duality. So if one thing exists, the other as well exists, and then you get to the point that the reason why this can is because there's no difference between it because it's just oneness.
Yeah.
And then that's it. But then when you start to get into that, it can be a little bit of a rabbit hole because you really go into it and like through your experience and stuff like that, you have to realize that none of that was actually bad, or these things in the world that we like consider to be bad are just it's just actions in the physical world, which is kind of weird to think about. But then you also have to realize that if something bad like that exists, there's also something really amazing that exists on the other side as well. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also through the more negative, I guess, or the bad stuff. As much as I had anxiety since I was a kid, my parents did their job. I mean, they did it right. I guess you can say it's not the fact that they shouldn't have done this or they shouldn't have done that. They did everything right, exactly what I guess. If I was to remember when I was on the other side of things, on the spirit side of things, I want to experience anxiety. I want to experience what it means to not feel loved or something like that, or not have money, or always a lack of money or something of the sort. Like it depends on each individual, and so your surroundings for sure will be created to fit that bubble, right? So it's not the fact that I'm blaming my dad or I'm blaming my ex, or they did the job like perfectly.
Oh yeah.
They did it all right. It was just definitely a learning for me, and in the end, like you said, it's kind of bringing my confidence back.
Yeah.
Stepping into my power. A lot of people didn't like that, and so that's why they're out of the picture. But I'm still. I mean, I'm so okay with it now. It's totally. It's fine. Like in some ways, I wish that I experienced that when more so at your age. Because then, things would be,
like
you have it in your mind.
Like I know. I know.
It's like, oh shit, I would have done this, I would have done that. But anyways, it's, again, that's a different rabbit hole too. But I'm happy where I'm at, so.
That's another thing too, is that you did everything perfectly how you were supposed to do it as well. That your soul decided exactly, what to take in this world. So that's kind of another thing. But yeah.
And even, like, for my issues, I guess you can say, they were bad, but there's my other friends too. God, they went through atrocities. Like, sometimes things that they've told me, I don't know if I would have lived. Like, it's just such bad conditions and stuff like that. Like, I don't know how they did it, like the strength that they found it within themselves to just move on and continue. And again, it's not trying to I'm not comparing myself to somebody else, but it's just understanding that there's so many different levels of where somebody's background, where they came from, and this and that, and what happened to them. It really inspires me when I see them, and then I'm like, holy shit. It's just thinking about it brings me anxiety, and I'm like, oh, I really hope that like I said, with all of this, what we're doing on every 2 weeks and stuff like that, just to help people kind of understand that they're not alone and they can get out of it type thing. It's not coping mechanism, like they actually do something to get out of it. So and like I said, if it's meds, it's meds. If it's during like doing meditations and stuff like that, that's awesome. Journalings. For myself, what changed a lot was as soon as, and you'll explain your method of doing things, but first thing in the morning, like as soon as I wake up, I just get out of bed and I go do my journaling right away. So I write down at least 10 different things that I'm really grateful for. Um, and what else do I do? Once I do that, I do like 5 minute meditation just to kind of settle into my body, I guess you can say. And then I do the different stuff that I learned with Universal Energy, which was merging with the masters or whomever around me, and I transfer energy. And then I start getting into all the other fun stuff in the house, getting my kids ready, getting this, getting that, and all that. But it's nice to kind of wake up a little bit earlier to have that time for yourself before the whole day kind of starts.
Yeah.
And if I do feel the anxiety, I'm a little bit more aware of it now. So when I do realize it, I just breathe. I just take really deep breaths. Sometimes even like 10 deep breaths just to kind of get it out of my system. And the interesting thing that you just mentioned before we went live was, what was it? Oh shoot! Now it totally escaped me.
What did I say?
Oh shoot! What was it again? You had said something about the energy, and I can't even remember. Anyways, it'll come back to me. So.
Oh, that like anxiety is like that too much energy in the body.
That's it. Yeah.
That's why that makes sense as your breath, because your breath is that flow of energy, that releasing and bringing in and releasing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I always thought about that.
When you feel the anxiety, where do you feel it on your body? Like, is it everywhere, or is it mainly in like one area?
Probably in my chest, but I get shaky all throughout my body.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's that like in my chest and everything like that.
Okay.
And it's that panicky, and I always like brought that to my chest because like again that's where your heart chakra is. You're disconnected and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also like that pause in my breath. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That like you don't know you're holding your breath. But it's actually so funny too, because when I actually used to feel a lot of anxiety, I actually used to use not breathing as like a coping mechanism. Because it would just kind of like stop me.
Yes.
And then obviously it made it worse after using that coping mechanism so much, because you're not breathing. And it was like, okay, I think I actually have to breathe when I feel this way.
Yeah. It's because it's a protection mode. You're going in that bubble.
Oh
you're
yeah.
Like, it's almost like you think that by being in the bubble you're going to be protected. That's the reason why we do that type thing.
Yeah.
But it's not. That's not the case, obviously. Yeah.
Actually, one thing that I actually used to get when I got a lot of anxiety, and I remember in high school and stuff like that, my dad used to have to take me to the chiropractor a lot, because I would get so tensed in my shoulders and in my neck and stuff like that, that it would like sometimes it like hurt to like move it and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's because when you stop breathing, you tense all of these muscles around this like area. Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't have like a thick neck at like, the end of it.
Yeah, no, that's true. That also it's funny because actually each section of the back tells you something, right?
Oh,
so
really?
Shoulders and neck, it means you're carrying a lot of weight on, like, it's almost like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Like,
that would make sense.
Everything depends on you type thing. If it doesn't work out, it's your fault. So you carry it on you a lot type thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I'm sorry about like the other sections, but if I'm not mistaken, the foundation obviously is the bottom part of the back. So when people feel like they're not moving forward in life, it's the hips and the lower back that hits them.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. That makes a lot of sense. Wait, what's
the middle? I can't remember for the life of me what the middle part of the back. I'd have to look it up, or maybe I can look it up while you're. But I'm trying to remember what it is in the mid back.
What does uneven hips mean?
Well, you're out of balance. So your female male is out of balance. So you're more towards, let's just say, your female is the left, and the male is the right. So if you're out of whack, you're dismissing the other side basically. So you're kind of
tilting over. Wow.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, wait, would the spots on the back go with the chakras then?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Very much. So, like for me, when I have the anxiety, most of my anxiety is right here, or my stomach. more so than my chest. Like most people, it's their chest,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They feel like they can't breathe or anything of the sort.
Yeah.
That's a lack of trust or love in yourself, right?
Oh, yeah.
But for me, it was confidence completely,
Oh,
utterly.
so it was like your solar plexus?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
big
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Oh, I hate that feeling. That just like pains me. I hate that feeling with you, like when like your stomach drops.
Yeah.
Like when you're on a roller coaster, but you're not, and you're just like walking, and suddenly your stomach just like drops.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the. Yeah, I don't like that either.
I know. I always associate that feeling with my solar plex.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of yeah, it's a horrible feeling. I don't like it. That's why I don't go to the roller coasters and stuff. I don't know how.
See, I'm okay if it's on a roller coaster, but if I'm just walking and it comes to me, I'm just like, no.
Yeah, no, it feels really awkward. Yeah. Here they say for the mid back, it can be linked to connection between the lower back, the grounding energies, and the upper back emotional energies. So it's your emotional area. It's
Wait, can that be that connection with like the ground to like your emotion, like your emotion to yeah,
here.
to your mind, yeah.
Yeah. So it's I guess it's an imbalance too of the two, the higher and the lower energies, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I know that yeah, like every part of the body, there's always a little something. There's a meaning to it, basically. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
So I know that I spoke about what I do in the morning, or the breathing and the journaling and stuff like that. I don't know if you have do you have a routine?
Oh yeah.
Of sort, yeah.
It is kind of nice. It's kind of like the opposite of yours.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't like to do anything when I wake up. I like to I'll wake up and I'll be up, and I'll just kind of like lay there for a second. I like to, maybe I'll like check my phone to see what time it is, but like I'll put that away and I'll just kind of like lay there and I'll kind of just be still and just be like, okay, I'm up now. What am I gonna do today? And then it's just kind of like reflecting on what I dreamt about. But I try to not let any anxious thoughts like come over or anything like that, and I just like to be still and be very peaceful, because I can't remember where I saw it. Maybe it was like, I think it was Joseph Dispenza or something like that. But it's like it's somewhere where I just like read it, where like, you know, the first emotion that you kind of wake up in the morning is kind of going to be what you're going to be carrying with you throughout the day.
Yeah.
So like if you wake up with like anxiety or anything, you're going to carry that with you through the day. If something happened the night before and you're waking up like sad or something like that, you're going to carry that with you. So I like to just like wake up and just like either feel very happy or just feel very peaceful.
Yeah.
One of those ones, because those are like the two big things I want to carry with me during the day. Yeah. So I'll just like let that be, and I'll slowly get up, and I'll slowly make my way to like getting my coffee, and then like slowly like kind of going about my day, because I like that the most, because I feel like if I rush as soon as I wake up to like do a bunch of stuff, I'm gonna get anxious, because then I get into the mindset of, you know, writing a list, doing this, trying to get all of this done.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I do need to be rushed, but like if I do that in the morning, it's a lot better. And then some things that I do is, again, I connect my third eye with one of my spirit guides, because that's nice to connect. Sometimes I'd like just connect with the universe and stuff like that. That's so nice to do in the morning.
Yeah.
And I would just do it like laying on my bed, like laying on my back. And then one thing that I started doing ever since like our first class in universal energy is that I'll just like stare at my ceiling, and I have the popcorn ceiling too. So I'll like try and stare at one popcorn like right in front of me, and then I'll just kind of like lay there and like do my breathing and stuff like that, and then I'll kind of get up. But I love doing that. I love just like laying in my bed.
Awesome.
So yeah.
No, that's perfect. I mean, everybody has their own ways of doing things, but the importance is what will carry that joy, like you said, that joy and serenity basically for the rest of the day, even if even if you have your family, kids, and this and that, things will happen, but it just won't affect you the same way. Like you won't go through that whole like anxiety stuff, you know, oh my god, you know, the kid dropped something or whatever on the floor. It's not a big deal anymore, I guess, is the best way of explaining it. It's knowing your boundaries and your limits. That's what it is, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you do that. Do you do anything at night before going to bed, or just
Before I
go
go
to
to
bed?
bed,
Or even in the middle part of the day? I don't know. Everybody's different on that part.
it just kind of depends, like, what I'm doing through the day. Of course, I try to, like, meditate whenever I find the time.
Mm.
The midday, like, as soon as I wake up and after I do my whole thing, as soon as I'm ready, it's like, okay, the day started. Like, I like to keep myself, like, moving and getting everything done that I need to do.
Yeah.
And moving myself and stuff like that. But once it comes to, like, nighttime and stuff like that, it's like when I take it really slow again.
Okay.
And I don't like to rush at anything. And I'll typically I'll literally just like hang out in my room and just do whatever I need to do, but do it very peacefully, I guess, and kind of wind myself down. But I don't have the best schedule when it comes to like going to bed and everything like that. To be honest, I probably should. I used to have a really good schedule. I used to like read like before I went to bed and like done all like the stuff, and I used to meditate, and I had this like really good schedule. I don't have that anymore, but that's okay. I'll bring it back if I find that I need it or I want to do it. But yeah, what about you?
There's no should in
Yeah,
the end, so don't
true.
worry about it. Myself, no. Actually, I just I think I no exactly like you. I don't have a set routine or anything of the sort. I just chill out, really, honestly. Sometimes I may watch TV, or I really don't watch that much TV anymore. Like, I really doesn't attract me very much anymore, so I may read instead, or hang out with my kids or whatnot, but it's never the same thing. But it's always, like you said, it's just enough to kind of chill out for my brain to kind of relax before heading to bed and stuff. So yeah.
I'm the same way. I don't watch that much TV or stuff like that. Sometimes
it baffles me so much. Like, sorry to say, but like what kind of crap there is on TV. Like, I can't believe people are watching it. That's for me. It was like, wow, this is really insane how. All these like reality TV shows and things like that. And I'm like, wow, like really, people really enjoy watching this. It's like, and again, it's not to judge. It's just I really don't see an attraction into any of that type of stuff. So, and I don't even watch the news. Like, I listen to other people, like, as they watch the news, so they tell me what I need to hear basically, and that's enough for me. I don't want to listen to even news anymore. Of course, I've been listening actually more so to podcasts and stuff like that there.
That's what I listen a lot to.
And I know that's the next wave is more the news. I don't think it's going to last very much longer.
No, I think, if you're in the same place as that, it's going to be more so, more so podcasts and stuff like that. Well, like, you even seen it, like, so many, like, like, you saw, like, Trump was, like, on a whole bunch of podcasts and stuff like that, and now, what's his name? I think Pierre Polyev was on a podcast too now. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, like, this is like politics are starting to get into this and stuff like that. And again, it's a new wave because like nobody's listening to the news anymore. And more so my generation, everything, like all my friends listen to podcasts. Like, that's the biggest thing that we listen to. We don't watch the news or anything. So yeah.
Well, it's because it's been so convoluted with lies and everything else. It's hard to want to watch any of those things anymore, right? So the older generation, yes, will still watch the news, but you're right. Like even my generation too. I don't know too many people that really sit down to watch that. You know how our parents used to always leave it in the background, like the news all day long or whatever. Anyways, my parents, I don't know about yours, but mine was like, it's like that's all you heard in the background. That does not happen in my generation right now, anyway. So
I remember my parents used to do that. So did my grandma and stuff, but it's actually funny too. Like the more I'm like thinking about it too, like my dad doesn't even watch the news anymore. Anytime he wants to watch the news, he'll pull up like a YouTube video or he'll pull up like a podcast or something like that, and he'll just watch that.
Okay.
So it's kind of crazy. That's so cool how we go through like those type of waves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think TV, like, cable's gonna be a thing for like much longer because like you have to realize that like there's all these like Netflix, Prime, all of this stuff are now like something big, and like now you like Netflix like live streams and stuff like that now, and it's just like, wow.
Well, even just thinking about my grandparents, from where they were to before they passed away in 2010, 2015, I think it was. Like, when I look at the pictures of their past to just that time, it changed so much. I mean, to the point where the TVs obviously completely changed. It was black and white and then colors and this and that. To having a washing machine, because they used to wash everything by hand. They didn't even have a washing machine or anything. Like all of these extra within the 50 years or whatever is mind boggling how much it changed in that time frame. Now with ours, it's like 50 times faster, 100 times faster than it was even before.
Yeah.
So all of these different, going live, and I'm not even sure if Facebook is going to exist, later on or whatever.
Right?
Like everything just is changing so much. It's incredible. It's really it's pretty cool. So I find it pretty cool. But anyway.
Oh yeah, and I can't wait to see where it takes us, like what it's gonna look like in like 20 years and stuff.
Well, everything has to catch up first. The schooling system is way off. Like I really don't enjoy how they're doing things in school and stuff like that. And it's not the actual school itself. It's just the mindset, right, of the groups that. Anyways, that has to definitely change. I think it is though. Like I see it progressing for sure, but it's taking a little bit more time than I would like. But anyways, we are getting there on that part, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing that we didn't mention actually was vitamins.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the vitamins.
Yeah, that really helps actually when you have a lot of anxiety and stuff. I don't know if there's particular ones. I know there's the vitamin D, like we were saying before, and C. That one really helps a lot for bringing down the anxiety. But I know the B's also, like B2, B, whatever, 12 and all that, because we're missing it all in our food.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing left in our food.
Way less vitamins in our foods nowadays than it used to be. Also, like when you're on your period too, iron.
Yes, very much.
Because that can make you feel so weak.
Yeah. It does. Yeah.
And that's a big thing. But yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. So, but I just wanted to bring that up because I totally forgot to talk about that too. And the last thing, actually, before we do our little card reading too.
Yeah.
Was I did totally forget about this. I do.
Yeah, I kept on looking at that. And
I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. So to help, I guess, understand a little bit better, we have the 7 main chakras in the system, and for me, in the background, I always put this video, basically from YouTube, and it's a person talking in the background, and they're mentioning I am. So. It could be like, I am healthy, I am happy, I'm grateful, and all that. Everything's, that's happening in the background. But the I am stems mainly from the root, which is the bottom part, the chakra. But obviously we have all the other 6 layers too, and each one of them have, a saying. So for the root, the bottom, it's I am. And then it's not sacral, it's
I feel. Wait, what? I feel. I am. I do. What?
Can't remember.
Wait. So your root, your sacral.
Sacral. Okay, it is sacral. Okay, so then your sacral, which is in and around the belly area. I totally forgot the word. Is I feel. So if you can have something running in the background saying I feel happy, I feel this, I feel that.
Yeah.
And then in the solar plexus, which is right here, it's the I do. That's the confidence one. So you can work on that too. There's the I love, I speak, I see, and I know. So I've only been working with the I am right now. Though now that I see this, I really want to continue on with all the others too. But it really helps to kind of build that confidence or trust within yourself so you can get out of that anxiety mode. So yeah, anyways, I recommend that too. I'll post it up actually later on, and for each chakra, which one to work with, basically.
That'd also be pretty good if you feel low in a certain chakra, it's more closed off or something like that, or you can't feel it so much in the body, doing that because you're just activating it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That'd be really nice.
Yeah, definitely.
I need to try this. I need to do this more. The I see, I speak.
Well, a lot of the stuff is in the subconscious, right?
Yeah, true.
So if you listen to it at night before going to bed, or you leave it on during the whole day. I remember at the beginning, I used to have my earpiece basically, and I would put it so low that I can barely hear it. but it was enough so that my subconscious would pick it up. And so I had it all day long playing and stuff like that, and I did really see a huge improvement in everything, in all aspects. My confidence, even just things that were happening around me, was more on a positive end to things. I was more aware of what was going on. You know, if I was going into that tangent of going into that not so good thought, I was able to just stop it and say something. I actually would say cancel, delete. I was like a computer, cancel, delete. And then, you know, I'd go on to another subject, so. But that was my method of, and you know what, I know we're talking about us all the time, but if you guys have anything to share with us, that would be really awesome to let us know, and, you know, just to kind of share it with everybody else too at the same time. So I know we've all struggled at some point with all of this, but it's always fun to share, and of course share what you want, but yeah, so it's pretty cool on that part. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to share before we do the card reading, or
No, I think that was kind of everything.
That was everything?
Yeah.
It was pretty good, actually.
Actually, yeah. I love
you.
what we talked about doing this. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing all that. No, that's really, really cool. So now we're going to do just a small little card reading for the next 2 weeks. Since we see each other in every 2-week basis, since you didn't bring your cards, did you want to pick and choose? Go ahead, pick and choose the one that you want. Okay. That'd be cool. Oops, sorry. It's all good. While you do that, here you go. No, just
this is it.
That was it?
Yes. I was kind of eyeing this one.
Yeah?
The Kuan Yin.
The Kuan Yin, okay. Clear away that anxiety that we keep talking about.
I know. That actually felt really good.
Greetings from Uganda and Africa. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Tamale. Awesome. Thank you for being here, everybody. I just really appreciate it. The whole reasoning for this is to just, share all of our experiences and stuff like that. And like I said, always to help people and remind them that they're not alone.
Yeah.
So that's why I always ask everybody else too, if you wish to share anything, you have any questions or anything of the sort, just, let us know and we'll try to help as best as we can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That actually helps so much. That's actually crazy that just thinking about anxiety makes you anxious.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're getting out of it, so it's all good.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what should the question be? Just I guess what the collective needs to know.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Spirit, please protect this reading with love and light. Please protect me and Josee and everyone on this call and the collective, and bring forth what the collective needs to know in the highest form. Thank you. Oh, I really like these cards.
Yeah.
One more. think that one's so funny because you're literally talking about sisters.
Yes.
It was kind of funny because I was like thinking about the word love when I saw you put your heart on your hand on your chest, and I was like, oh, that's a sign. And then that was right what I was supposed to like kind of be thinking about in that moment.
It's coming back to center.
Yeah, it really is. Wow, these are so cool. I should get a deck like that one. I need to get a Kuan Yin deck. Honestly, what this one's kind of telling me here is just being a lot more authentic. But the pearl I always associated with again with Cancer. That's like the zodiac sign, not actual Cancer.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
And what Cancer's all about, and like I know because I'm a Cancer, is feeling your emotions, and not like, because the issue that a lot of Cancers have is that we have a lot of emotions, but we don't bring them to the surface or anything like that. We keep them in until it's too much. So Empress of the Pearl represents to me is allowing that emotion to kind of flow out, and kind of being authentic in it is like the biggest thing. Because you tell her she's like trying to be authentic, but she's kind of shying away in a sense. And it's just kind of standing in that, even if it's hard. And it's hard at first, but as you work on it and you start to do it more, it becomes a lot more easier to stand in your truth. And what that truth is those emotions. Which is kind of cool because it's 10 right here, which 10 again, it's one, it's a beginning, but I also see it as an ending as well. So it's constantly coming into that beginning and the ending, that beginning and that ending. Sometimes you don't like learn a lesson like straight away, but it's more so learning of sticking in that power and that emotion. And as you learn to do that, that slowly enters you into the next chapter of what to do after you learn that. And the amaryllis lute. This one I'm associating a lot with like your throat chakra, just because she's flying and it's like so high up by your throat. And what this represents to me is like speaking your truth and kind of singing your song, and letting it direct to wherever it's supposed to go without any like authority about like how it's supposed to sound or where it's supposed to go. It will go and it'll sound how it's supposed to, but what you need to concern yourself with is just speaking it. That's going to be the biggest lesson, speaking it with a lot of truth here. That's like the biggest thing that I kind of see in that one. And then 3-4, again, 3 to 4, it's like kind of hitting the next step in the journey as well. 3, I view that number as doing the work, which is simply just doing it, just singing the song, and the rest will come through. And then I see 4 as like the universe is around you, that you're not alone when you're going on to that journey, and that you can call the universe in whenever you need them to help you go through it. Oh, and then 33, 10 Sisters of Light. I love this card so much. I think that if you go into this journey, you're going to find more of a community inside of yourself and around you. So as you start to step in your truth, feeling your emotions, standing in it, not shying away, learning to then speak your truth from that, what's going to happen is that you're going to be really directed in a new way of life, where you're going to find more of a community of sisters, of people that are going to understand your struggle, and are all kind of like, I love it because they all have different instruments in here, so it's kind of like singing it all. Finding that community. So feeling those emotions, standing in it, then allowing you to speak your truth, sing your song, and then by learning those 2 key steps, what's going to happen is you're going to start to find a community. 10 Sisters of Light, a community of light. Which 3-3 to me, that's just like a master number.
33, yeah.
33,
Yeah, that is, yeah.
I always associate that number with Jesus though, because that was the day that like he was crucified and stuff like that. So I'm just like, oh, it's Jesus. I don't know.
Is there anything else, or you're good with it, or?
No, I think I'm pretty good with it. I think I really, really like this. I really like these cards too because it's like you are the light. Like around here, it's all dark around them. It's like you're doing the work amongst like the darkness and stuff like that, and you're standing with it.
Yeah.
And then like this thing about the community too. I don't think like a community is gonna come right to your footstep or doorstep and be like, hey, I'm here. It's going to be people that are going to be finding kind of in the mists and kind of in really weird places, but it's because you're a lot more connected with yourself that you're going to connect with those people a lot more easier. So yeah, so these people don't necessarily think that you're gonna meet them at like a beautiful spiritual retreat and you're gonna find like all these women and you guys are just gonna be best friends for the rest of your life. I think like, you know, you may just like meet somebody when you're at like the grocery store and you're just gonna connect like right off the bat. But yeah. What do you see?
So I can't show you well, actually, unless I cover it a little bit, because she's nude. But
yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was like, can I
show
this?
I can't. Yeah, I'll just do it like this so that you guys can see. But so I don't know if you can really see very much. But anyways, and it's called the Empress of the Pearl. So for this one, yeah, to me it's indicating don't be ashamed of, you know, your emotional state right now type thing. Whatever it is that you're going through, just, you know, process it. It has a lot of light like around her head, so be open to it for these next couple of weeks. Actually, aren't we in a Mercury retrograde, or we're going into it right now?
Actually?
Yeah.
Dang.
So I'm not sure if we're actually in it right now or in the next coming day or couple of days we're in that.
Yeah, you check
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, you like read it out, and I'm like.
So yeah, it's so her head is turned, which it's almost like a feeling shameful of it. But because of the fact that she's nude, it's the fact of being vulnerable. So don't be shy with, you know, your vulnerability. Embrace it as much as you can right now. Now is the time to do it. The pearl is also, for me, it's about purity. So it's bringing out that purity within yourself. You have to shed everything else in the outside before reaching that pearl within you, right? And then there's the Amaryllis Lute. There's another beautiful card too. It's the number 34. Here. I'm trying to do it without the light here. And so this one, like you were saying, actually, it's the number 34. When you add it, 7. And for me, 7, it's the God, I believe they call it the God number, right?
Yeah.
So it's working in flow, like she's really flowy, like all her clothes is just kind of like flowing in that direction. So work with or meet with God or the universe, whatever it is, however it is that you work. Meet them halfway. The flow is just going to come that much easier for you, type thing. They're always there around you. There's no such thing as a disconnection or anything of the sort. That's just a man-made mind thing. So work with the universe on that level in the next like 2 weeks while you're going through that whole process of elimination is probably the best word. And with that flow, then comes the 10 Sisters of Light. I don't think there's any nudity in here. A little bit here. The 10 Sisters of Light on this one here. It's really beautiful.
It is.
Yeah. So yeah, the same. It's very community based. You're gonna really attract people that are on the same wavelength, I guess you can say, as you. So, and working together in unison and harmony, because of all the different instruments and stuff like that, it just brings that purity again, that joy, the flow. Everything will come really easily. I know that when everybody is talking about this Mercury retrograde is always like, don't do this, don't do that during that time, but don't give it too much power at the same time. You know, like don't give up your power because of a Mercury retrograde. I guess the best way of saying it. This is your life. You do it the way, you know, that works best for you. So in these next 2 weeks, whatever it is that you need help in, whatever comes up emotionally, just go through it, and you're gonna see that you're gonna have these amazing events and people coming towards you, type thing. It'll come effortlessly is the best way of saying
Oh yeah, because I just realized that this lady right here, she looks like that girl right there, and
Yes.
she's just like shining so bright. So yeah, you're
She
gonna
is.
attract it no matter what. Don't think about it too much.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's not working hard at it by any
No.
means. It's just it'll come. So I know I got this deck from these cards from Kuan Yin. I'll come a little bit closer for you guys too there, but from this deck, it's really really awesome. Very
Yeah.
beautiful images and cards and stuff. So
they are.
so next 2 weeks, work on yourself,
Yeah.
but be gentle with yourself too, all at the same time. So.
Oh yeah, these are all gentle cards. It's not about forcing yourself through it, just going with the flow. Yeah.
And you were
yeah.
you researched
And
for
then
the Mercury, yeah.
Mercury retrograde is from November 25th to December 15th in Sagittarius.
Oh, it's my sign.
I know.
Okay.
Is that a fire sign?
Oh, so it started today.
Oh, this is November 25th? I'm so
Yeah,
behind.
I think so.
Oh my
Yes.
God. I thought we were like the 20th or something.
No. If I'm not mistaken, we are the 20. Like, are we? No, you're making me question. Yeah, it is.
Oh.
The 25th. It is. So it starts today. Oh, interesting. Okay, cool.
Oh wow, that's crazy that it starts on the day that we like started all this.
I know.
Wow, we're in a. Dang, I was gonna like blame all my troubles with my computer on this, but like I can't do that.
Wait, how long is it supposed to last?
Till the 15th.
Of December.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
So it's what, a 2?
Kind of like a 2-weekish.
It is a 2 week.
Yeah, a little bit more than 2 weeks, but yeah. I think so.
Nice. Okay, so the next
Yeah.
time we meet, we'll be out of it probably.
Wow,
or
that's
so
crazy
it's-
that everyone's gonna be going through that while like everyone's basically gonna be preparing for Christmas.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing, right? With all the anxiety all around
Oh
Christmas
yeah.
too. Yeah, really try to breathe as much as possible while you're doing that. I know.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, Mercury is a time for us to reflect on ourselves. Yeah, because it brings things back into your life for you to see if you've gone through the growth and to reflect on yourself and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, all of these retrogrades, it's all about backtracking and checking up on yourself and saying, okay, did you learn from this? Have you moved
Yeah.
forward from this? Blah blah blah, and then you kind of move on next. It's like,
This is like when characters from last season come up again. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing I find every time I'm in retrograde, people I haven't seen in like the longest time. Like I meet them in the weirdest way possible, and I'm like, oh, you're here now.
yeah.
It's crazy. I love it so much.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's like a reunion.
Yeah, it is a reunion. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, that's I think about it for this session, but
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it, guys.
So many of you guys like showed up.
Yeah.
I was looking at that as people kept on coming through. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. So thank you for being here. Really, really, really appreciate it. We're just gonna continue doing this every 2 weeks and stuff like that. And if there's any content that you guys want to talk about too, shoot it our way or shoot it. I have the YouTube channel also. If you're not too familiar with the Facebook, I also am on TikTok, which I'll post it up afterwards. I'm trying to get into all the platforms here. I got Instagram too, if I'm not mistaken, so I'll be posting in there too. I'm just trying to get used to all these different platforms so that everybody can have access to all of this. But again, really appreciate for you guys being here, and just let us know how you're doing. If you want any specific topics or anything of the sort, so we'll work on it together and bring that forth to you. So until then, have a good 2 weeks, and we'll see each other soon.
Yeah.
Be cool. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye.